Nishikant Singh ji, I think Ramananda ji has hit the nail. He said BJP MLAs are meeting, NPP MLAs are meeting, Congress MLAs are meeting, opposition. But Manipur, there is an absence of a joint Manipuri delegation. I think that's a very relevant point he has made. Yesterday when we were having a cup of tea, I think you were also making that point. Why has that not happened, sir?
Acha, first and foremost, I think a deep divide within the BJP, that thing should be removed, number one. Number two, you're very right that when it comes to Manipur, we have all the years behind to play politics. Everybody, including the ruling party, those parties supporting the ruling party, the opposition party, everybody must come together, and with the leadership of the chief minister and the honorable speaker, honorable chief minister, must lead, and we must make things possible together as one force for Manipur. Exactly.
But why hasn't that happened, sir? That's my question to you.
I am a MLA, independent MLA. I can only voice my opinion, and I've been voicing my opinion. If you notice, I am among the very, very few MLAs, especially from the ruling party. I think probably the only one who's been coming out of the media and speaking. I don't know, rest why I've suddenly become so camera shy. I know when I say this, they're going to hate me, but I'm saying that the voices have to be heard.
But why aren't more voices like you available?
I don't know. No, I don't know. Suddenly, I mean, I don't know. There are the spokespersons. Why don't you go after the ministers and ask them? पूछिए.
सवाल तो उनसे पूछा जाता है जो वाईफाई से अवेलेबल होते हैं. अब मैं वाईफाई लेके तो नहीं भाग सकता ना निशिकांत जी.
अरे आपके लोग जाते हैं. What I'm trying to say is that you leave it out on somebody like me I am an independent MLA. I have no political post other than an MLA. I do not take the calls. I do not make judgments, and I do not have the power to make decisions. I can only contribute. I can only.
But at least you have the power to say the truth.
Well, that's what I'm trying. And I think I'm doing fine. But at the same time, see, so many wrong things have been read into. Like, for example, they said, of course, when the MLAs and ruling ministers and elected MLAs' homes are being attacked, do you think that the government, people are happy with the government? I mean, it's for everybody to see. Union Minister, Mr. Arkin said, complete failure of law and order. His house got burnt. Union Minister.
Can I ask you a corollary question? It's not a criticism. I understand minister's house was burned, but I did not see minister in action there.
I don't know.
I did not see. I have full sympathy, sir, and I can understand that it's difficult to say one thing sitting in the studio and another thing to be there. But lawmakers are supposed to be made of different metal. They're different material.
See, one has to take responsibility. People have to, those in power, those in the administration must take responsibility. You can't leave it out to people to have civil war or something like that. We must take responsibility. The government needs to be proactive. And once everything starts functioning, then there is the security advisors, the army officers, the police officers, the administrators, the ministers, the chief minister. They all need to gear up and get things under control very soon. And nobody, cutting across community lines, should ever be allowed to take law in their own hands. Never.
Why is political momentum lacking?
So the political momentum which is lacking, as you understand, I would definitely blame the ruling state government for this, the momentum lacking. They should have taken whatever measures that needs to be taken, should have taken in the initial days of the violence which had taken place. And as all the previous panels, as well as in your previous, shows, which we have seen, people have said that if the government would have been proactive during those initial days, this violence could have been stopped, this mayhem could have been stopped, and these kind of uncivilized culture would have been stopped. But because of the failure of the state government, everything has failed. So I don't know how long the state government is going to be in power and how long this mayhem will continue. Unless we believe, unless the central government interferes and take law and order on its own hand, these things will not go on.
And before I move forward, the memorandum says that among the steps they have suggested is a meeting between Kuki and Maiti MLAs to find a solution on the issue of the state by interacting and exchanging the ideas. Other suggestions are proper deployment of central paramilitary forces along with the state police, enforcement of ground rules for Kuki militants under the suspension of operations, and strong action to check the infiltration involvement of the Chin Kuki Defence Force in the present violence. They also stated that the demand for the separate administration by any community as being demanded by Kuki Zomi community should not be considered at any cost. So there are a number of things which this memorandum has gone to. Sudhakar ji, this memorandum, before we get into other parts of the memorandum, one thing has become pretty eminent, People are having a choice of force which they want to operate in Manipur. Can you please explain me why this has happened? A particular community want that force to function. Another community want that force to function.
Don't want Manipur and SF and special commandos to function.
Can you please ask that question to Sudhakar ji?
Maitis have no faith in Assam rifles. How do you explain this, sir? That that both ethnicity, which is at they have this complete lack of faith as far as Assam rifle is concerned, and also the Manipur police is concerned, sir.
Okay. Let me compliment you once again. The way you are progressing, very nice, and very eminent scholars, political leadership, and people who are in know-how. I'm no match to them. I am a retired soldier, and I do my own research, the least of being a domain expert. So having said that, let's first of all identify what should be our end state. Our end state should be no mayhem, no violence, peace and normalcy. If peace and normalcy is what we are looking at, the means to the end state, how best can we achieve it? Is President's rule going to give us peace and normalcy? My answer is no. Is the rule of governance, the present dispensation which is sitting, have they been able to give some kind of peace and normalcy? The answer is no. If the answer is no, why is it that they have failed in the duty? There is something one needs to understand and also find an answer. Why is it that the state present government has failed to, it is not visible, the efforts are not visible on ground. So what it brings me to is that there is something which is stopping them. What is that something? But before I come to the something, let me share that there is a bigger design, there is a bigger plan being timed to highlight this particular failure of government machinery, marginalization of the minorities, and time it with the visit of Narendra Modi, our Honorable Prime Minister to the United States of America. It has happened before, it is happening now. Just take your mind back to Donald Trump. When you came to India, you all know what happened as far as the farmers' agitation was concerned, and how it actually spiraled in no time. So therefore, what I'm coming to is that what is the issue which is preventing the present government? I may be wrong. Please correct me. I'm also a student. I'm trying to find a solution. The same Manipur in which I have served for 7 years, they are my brothers and sisters, Meitei and Kukis. The finding I have come to after having been invited for a midnight, what do you all people call it, Twitter space. The group of people, educated people, very qualified. There was a debate in the Twitter space 2 days back. I have heard many people who have gone very deep into the subject. From that discourse, I picked up one issue. It is called as SOO, the suspension of operation. The suspension of operation, I was trying to download the caveats and the parameters of suspension of operation. I could not because the internet is not working. It's raining very heavily since past couple of days in Jaipur. So therefore, from the discussion, what emerged was, as long as the suspension of operation is operative, no police force, unitedly or individually, can be applied to address such kind of violent activities. This also I was shocked and surprised to learn. I'm trying to find the real meaning and the truth of this. It was corroborated by security specialists taking part in the Twitter space. It is headed by some gentleman, Mr. Amit from Noida. It was on a special invitation at midnight. They had invited me. So if that be so, if the security apparatus available with the government cannot be applied, then the first and foremost thing we should target or aim is to remove or revoke the special operative suspension of the operation. This is my understanding. Please correct me. Second point. Now, if you are giving me time, I would like to bring everyone's attention to a couple of issues. First and foremost, 2017, Doklam, stalemate by India, gave a fitting response to Chinese, like we have been doing post 1962. But before we could realize, in a very, very limited time frame, we understood, it came to light that China, about 9 kilometers east of Doklam in 2017 itself, it had started building a road connecting across the mountainscape, joining the villages. There is a village called as Pangda, and this road was meandering across the mountainscape to a Jamperi Ridge. Why is Jamperi Ridge so important? Why is it so desperate? It was trying to reach Jamperi Ridge from the Doklam, or based on a traditional footpath which it had actually developed by means of pattern building. Why is it coming to Jamperi? Jamperi is because it gives him uninterrupted and clear domination by observation and fire on the Siliguri corridor. Why Siliguri corridor is so important? It is just 17 kilometers pro-flight distance at the nearest point. Siliguri corridor is also widest, or the width of the Siliguri corridor, the lowest width, or the least wide is 17 kilometers, and maximum is 60 kilometers. Length is around 200 to 600 kilometers. Why China is looking at Siliguri corridor? Because through Siliguri corridor, all our arteries of maintenance, be it the railway line, be it the national highway, be it any other means of communication, passes and it connects all our 7 sisters or 8 sisters in the northeast. That is one that I wish to highlight. Second part I wish to highlight, read the book which I have already mentioned. This is The Great Game East, India, China, and the Struggle for Asia's Most Volatile Frontier. There is some gentleman by the name of...
So basically, Sudhakarji, you are saying that there is also an element of foreign hand, China.
It's a conspiracy going on, global conspiracy, Kartikeya. Please try and understand that George Soros or Hindenburg or the farmers' agitation or the Khalistan movement taking place here, there, everywhere, all these things put together, they want to destabilize India. They want to hype up the issue time it with the visit of Narendra Modi to USA. Project India as a nation which is failing and not meeting the aspirations and the human rights entitlements of the minorities.
Okay.